straight to the question, which is the real question. And Somnath Bharti, I want to ask you. Somnath Bharti, you are a senior lawyer yourself. You've been a law minister. I want to ask you, today's Supreme Court verdict, doesn't it actually put there in black and white that this is not some tamasha going on? This is not a political slugfest. There has to be a rule of law. Anybody who has objections to it can go to a court of law, question the mandate, raise any kind of questions in a court of law, whether it is the High Court or the Supreme Court. But first interfering and obstructing a central agency, then taking law into your own hands, armed by the DGP of the state. These are serious questions. And these are not my words. The Supreme Court has called this a serious matter where we have to decide whether the rule of law will remain in this country or the law of the ruler will remain in this country. I'm not even getting into the merits of the case. Question is, can courts be turned into, jantar mantar, the way it was done in Calcutta, and can chief ministers across the country, if whichever party they belong to, can there be a separate law for them than the citizens of India? These are the only two crucial points. The politics will be fought, when the ballots take place. Right now, I want the law of the land.
Navika ji, very good questions you have asked. Kindly permit me to explain whatever you have asked. See, the misuse of ED, which I call Election Department of BJP, started with Aam Aadmi Party. In the case Arvind Kejriwal versus ED, the Supreme Court says this. I am quoting Honorable Supreme Court only, and I'll keep it to that only. They said election proximity of an action of ED heightens scrutiny. Courts must be alive to the chilling effect on democratic participation. They further said, criminal process cannot be deployed in a manner that effectively incapacitates a political actor during election unless arrest is demonstrably unavoidable. So the question is, why this happened? See, you had 5 years of time to act on that, the complaint, the case. But you are acting when? What you did in Delhi. When the election was near, you arrested, Arvind Kejriwal ji. Prior to him, you arrested Manish Sisodia ji, Satendra Jain Saab, Sanjay Singh. And what not you did? Just after the election, Nabika ji, do you ever see any ED raid, any ED action? Nothing. They are now seeking time again and again from the High Court to file a reply in the cancellation thing. Question is, this ED's status today has been brought down, and there is a constitutional crisis which has been imposed on the nation by none less than BJP, the ruling party. Now comes this. See, look at this. What have they said? ED has said in the Kolkata High Court. They said we did not take anything. So for hours of raid, it did not take anything from site. It proves that raid was primarily to curb the political interest of TMC in West Bengal. That's all problem.
Well, if it is proved so well, then the Supreme Court would have said it, Somnath Bharti ji. Inferences of things that have not been concluded is a right that only a politician can have. The right that a politician uses like yourself. आपने law को छोड़ दिया, आपने Supreme Court को छोड़ दिया. आप सिर्फ concentrate कर रहे हो ED पर. मैं पूछ रही हूँ law of the land में मैं obstruct कर सकती हूँ कि नहीं. And Ishkaran Bhandari. Somnath Bharti ji has commented on everything except the moot matter that was in front of the courts today, the moot matter that his country is watching as to whether there are two kinds of laws, one for you and me and one for netas.
Navika ji, that is why people are going round and round in circles, whereas the issue is very simple. Let's say a central investigative agency, it could be any government tomorrow, is investigating an offense as per the powers given to it under the law, can any individual, any bureaucrat, any politician go based on their own assessment, based on their own whims and fancies, say this raid is for an ulterior purpose and I will destroy evidence, take away evidence, conduct myself in a manner so that the investigative agency cannot function? If that is allowed, then what is to stop any human being who is accused of a case to do the same and say, in my perception, this is done wrong? It is not your perception. If you believe you have some case, you go to court and you get a stay on the FIR registered by the ED, or you get a stay on whatever is the predicate offense and you get a protective order from the court. If you do not have that, you cannot rely on your status as a senior politician or a chief minister or a home minister of a state and then go and scuttle the entire investigation. That is the root point. That is the question. Are we heading to anarchy? Are we heading to lawlessness? Where if a central agency is carrying out its mandate, you will register an FIR on those officers, or there will be a gherao of their houses, or they will be intimidated, or they will receive some threat, and then you will come out and say we are fighting for democracy. This is not the fight for democracy, and that is why today in Supreme Court, let's see what happened. The notice was opposed very strenuously. The court said, no, we are issuing notice. The court stayed the FIR on ED. The court is given a very short date, just 2 weeks,
But
sufficient time to give the best defense, but not a long date, and is going to act further in the matter. In my mind, 1 second, this, if any senior minister or a chief minister acts like that, that's a complete breakdown of law and order. That could lead to a president rule being imposed, but that's a call for the government to make. But this behavior, this sort of action in which you send a message to the common citizen, if you are under raid, it's a different law. If I believe somebody is under raid, then I can do these actions, will not lead to a system functioning. That is why Supreme Court had to interfere. And let's see now what it does on the next date of hearing.
Absolutely, but thankfully we common people don't break the law, so we don't need to know this. But Tausif, yes, what's your objection?
Navika ji,
You can't, you would be jailed.
A government, no.
You can't, you can't. If you did this, you would be jailed.
Ishkaran ji, I heard you. A government body who's acting like a private body, who's working for BJP, wants to come and sabotage the West Bengal election of 2026, and you want us to just sit and clap hands. This is not going to happen.
Stop. Tausif bhai, stop.
Please, Navika,
You said,
please.
1 minute, I'm asking you, I want an explanation on the expression you used. You said a government body acting like a private body.
BJP.
I ask you the same question. A government body, which is Mamata Banerjee, DGP and everybody else in tow, actually going to protect a private agency, IPAC, फिर वो भी तो सही नहीं है ना? That is also not right.
Navika ji, thank you so much for bringing this up. IPAC is a private agency authorized by All India Trinamool Congress. It is going to become a party office, if you say so, as per Suvendu Adhikari, Sukanto Majumdar, and all the BJP unit of West Bengal. They say IPAC hamara party office hai. So I don't understand whether I am lying, you are lying, or the court is lying. So of course, I say the same, that of course IPAC is a party office where the strategies are going to be held from there. And you cannot just enter and take our strategies and then you sabotage the West Bengal election. Now let me tell to Ishkaran Bhandari ji, judges caution against the shielding of offenders. The Supreme Court observed it is extremely important to examine this issue to ensure the rule of the law is upheld in the country and both the central and the state agencies can function independently. It must be also ensured that no offender escapes accountability by taking shelter behind state law enforcement agencies. Several large and important questions are involved in this case. Arey, hum to aapko support kar hi rahe hain. We are not running behind. We will be there to hear all the procedures and all the proceedings. But why are you jumping the gun? And one more thing, 10 seconds. Now you see about the WhatsApp chat, what is written in the WhatsApp chat. To gherao the court room, any specific date and who were there. So you cannot jump the gun again. आप कोर्ट को डिसाइड करने दो. क्या हाई कोर्ट के जज ने एक बार भी कहा है कि टीएमसी के गुंडे आए हुए थे अंदर? So my question is to Gaurav Bhatia ji. Gaurav Bhatia ji एक learned advocate है.
Can I respond?
Gaurav Bhatia ji, please respond.
Navika ji,
Gaurav Bhatia ji, I'm coming to you, Ishkaran.